Welcome to Thoughts and Discourses on Digital Transformation. Dive into a world of insightful conversations and profound ideas. Join us as we explore the latest trends, challenges, and opportunities in the digital age. Stay tuned for engaging discussions and expert opinions that will inspire and inform.
So we're back with another podcast. This is the last one in 2025, and hopefully looking forward to doing a lot more in 2026. Today I'm going to talk about a new emerging standard and protocol called x402. It's based off of X means extension to the 402 protocol. Hopefully everyone has seen the HTTP 404 errors when you go to a website. 402 or x402 is really a request to pay. And Coinbase has started this, and they've really been quite aggressive about trying to get this as a standard, and it looks like it's going to take off, and I'll show you some more about this. So what really is it? So this diagram here is a very simple version of how you would use a 402. So a client, like a browser, goes to a server and says, hey, I want to see this content. The server goes, hey, for this content, you need to pay. Response back with a 402, which contains, hey, here's how you want to pay. I want, X, whatever it might be. And here's where you send the payment to. And so if the client does want to pay to access this content, it goes, here's my details. And the server can say, well, I need to verify and settle, basically get that money. And so a lot of times what we're going to start to see is facilitators. So the server can decide to go do it themselves. In my demo, I've actually done that. Or you can actually outsource it to another company, another basically API. Say, hey, can you verify and settle this amount? Right. So if it's a crypto payment, right, you would get a signature from the client saying, hey, here's my details. The facilitator will look at that, verify, and potentially settle it and say, okay, you're good to go, server. And then the server would say, okay, thanks for the payment. Here's the content, right? So that's really how it works at a super high level. And it's going to be interesting to see how well this takes off. So in the demo that I did, I've got a browser. Again, it could be an agent. There's a lot of AI agents coming out here, but in this example, I've got a browser. It basically goes to a website. I've got a React front end. And basically, if you want to see premium content, it will respond back saying, hey, here's my, basically I'm using Solano here. Here's my wallet. Here's the amount that I need. And basically, it's going to show a pay button. If the user clicks to pay, what you'll need to do is connect a wallet. In this case, I'm using Phantom. And then basically, we'll go get the block hash. You'll be asked to sign the transaction. I'll send that transaction to basically get confirmed, and we'll verify, sign it, make sure it's we verified it on chain, and then eventually the back end will respond back with, yep, okay to show the content, and so the front end will actually show that content. This is a very good example on how you can go and implement x402 protocol, and it's pretty simple. Again, I just have a website, and I'm doing a lot of this work myself versus let's go use a facilitator. And I'm using Solano, one, because I think it's pretty fast to go and do implementations there, and one, my gas fees are very low on this, so it's easy for me to go build a demo. So without that, so here's an example. Oops, let me type in my password. It's timed out. Right, so here's my example, right? I go to, let's see here, if I go to KibiPay, I just bought this domain name, and it's a premium world clock website, right? So to unlock access to real-time clocks, 6 major cities around the world. Okay, most people would never pay for this, but here is, the Chrome debug console. And we can actually see if I click on unlock, and we can actually start to see, okay, over here, it's giving me a warning. This domain is new. That's because I just bought it. So it will actually say, hey, do I want to actually confirm this transaction? It's got KibiPay, and I'll say yes. Oops, I'll click yes. And what we can see here, right, if we can actually start to see it's processing the transactions, and here is my premium content, which is a world clock, right? Okay, it's not really that premium, but you get the point, right? So you can actually see here, you know, what we're starting to do. You can actually look down here. All right, here is the 402, right down here. You know, saying, hey, payment required, and we're actually, you know, creating the RPC client. We're building a transaction, we're getting a block hash, we're signing it, sending the transaction, and transaction was set, waiting for the confirmation, and transaction confirmed, verifying payment, payment verified, unlocking content, right? So you can actually see this is what actually happened to get this. So again, a pretty simple example of that. And the other way that we can look is if we go to our markets, which actually looks on chain. So this is my receiving, where I asked the address the payment to be sent, right? And look here, I got 1 minute ago, I got received 0.1 Sol, and so you can actually see it's actually on the chain. So here we go. This is a great example of x402. Now, there's starting to be a whole ecosystem. So the x402 org, right, has now started to put together some ecosystems. And if I scroll all the way down, there's a whole bunch of infrastructure tooling. And then if you go down here, there's actually facilitators. So you can actually start to see things like this starting to come out, right? So instead of me doing the work, I could actually leverage some of the other facilitators, right? And so you can see it's, you know, I use Solano, but you can do multi-network, multi-token, multi-payments. Doesn't need to be any crypto. It can actually be through, you know, regular payments, right? And so that's the goal there, right? So hopefully this is a quick 10-minute demo of, you know, the x402 protocol. I'll probably start to build on top of this, and you know, using you know, DigitalOcean as a backup, you know, Droplet, and then, you know, I'm just coding probably pretty poorly, as you can see, but we'll get some more work done on this in the next few weeks. Okay, thanks everyone. Happy New Year. Bye.